Selecting a major is somewhat like selecting a hat. This Australian cowboy hat represents for me sort of a broad approach to what a major might be. In contrast to a more limited approach might be my Greek fisherman's hat, or ultimately the hat I most enjoy wearing today that I'm most proud of because it represents a good fit and also I'm proud to wear in public, which is this one, which says Joe 2020. Obviously, selecting a major is much more complicated than selecting a hat, but the key is to find the right fit and to find something that you're comfortable with, particularly when you share your major with other people. So for me, this video is a unique opportunity to sort of reflect back on the story of my selecting a major, and an opportunity to do it in the context of helping others. My name is Mike Austin. I'm a professor emeritus from the School of Social Welfare at UC Berkeley. And some of the challenges I faced in thinking about my major included the following. One was I was a very proud B+ high school graduate. I was told that I would never get into Cal. Of course, I ignored that and ultimately decided to go to UCLA for my first 2 years. As the first in my family to go to college, I didn't really have the parental support around selecting courses or being advised about college selection in general. I also had very limited academic advising as an undergraduate, basically through all 4 years. And so at UCLA, I floundered by taking courses in accounting and literature and was distracted by campus life and ended up with a 2.0 grade point average. So I woke up at the end of my sophomore year realizing that I needed to pay more attention to what it was that I was most interested in and thought about the societal events that were most startling to me and most powerful, having to do with the farm workers' grape boycott that took place under Cesar Chavez leadership in California, trying to improve conditions of farm workers. I was also obviously impacted by my high school Far Eastern history, who was called up before the House Un-American Activities Committee, where they were looking for communists in all corners of life, and realized that I needed to sort of find a major that spoke to me. And so when I transferred to Berkeley as a junior, I selected poli-sci, and particularly the courses on political sociology, sociology of organizations, all of which sort of captured some of my underlying interest in social movements and organizations as well. And in my senior year, I began to wonder about my major and particularly the extent to which my major was going to help me in a career direction. And this is where I luckily stumbled on an announcement in a local newspaper announcing a new master's program in community organizing and administration in the School of Social Welfare, which turned out to be exactly the kind of a program that captured my interest in social justice, but also provided a way of providing services to people in need. So as I reflect back on my experience, both people's and experiences, several things come to mind. One is that I really enjoyed being a camp counselor and assistant director of a camp for 300 kids, leading me in some ways to group work and organizational work of all kinds. I had a summer internship on Wall Street, which led me away from finance and international relations, thinking that's where I was going to go, but clearly was not. And thinking back on my high school Far Eastern history teacher, mainly because that's the major I ended up focusing on in poli-sci on Southeast Asia. Also influenced greatly by my mother, who was a preschool educator and director of her own preschool, and obviously inspired by my congregational rabbi, who was very much into interfaith organizing in the community and marched with Martin Luther King in Selma in the mid-60s. So one of the things that I began to recognize with social issues were a powerful theme in my life. I didn't know they were a foundation for selecting a major. And then since we've been talking about hats, I think the final hat that I want to emphasize is this one, which is you're trying to find a hat that helps you graduate. And my hope is that this particular video helps you think about a major, how at least one person experienced it, and that this proves to be of some help to you in your own thinking. Thanks.